Hello, everybody. Darren Cross. Welcome to MBA 641, and this is actually the lecture or intro video for Module 3. And in it, we're going to be talking about chapters 6, 7, and 8. So I want to apologize right off the bat if my voice goes out. I've really been down hard with something. Not sure what yet, but just not feeling well over the past couple of days. But on we march. So Chapter 6 is about e-marketing research. So as we go through life and we're trying to do what we need to do in order to put together the best marketing mix, which we'll talk about later, we have to gain some understanding about certain things. And so we research. What we're doing is we're trying to learn new information that might influence something that we're doing along the way. And one of the things that we have to understand now is that e-marketing is influenced by research, and research is influenced by e-marketing all the way through. So because of technologies that we have and because of things that people expect and all of that, we are doing something different than what we used to do, right? Where it used to be maybe I'm going to do some surveys to see which product is more favorable or something like that. Now, we utilize all kinds of robust tools that can help us pick up some quantitative and qualitative data that can help us all throughout the process. And so just tee that up so that we can talk about the other parts of this because they're kind of interrelated. So another thing that we're concerned about is connecting consumers online. It's no longer about just the transaction, right? And even in traditional marketing, we're concerned about developing that relationship. And one of the things that's happening is that people develop their relationships socially using technology now. And so because of that, we can't ignore those methodologies. And if we're going to do something, then we have to take all of our activities and actually tune it into that goal as well. So there are some videos that I find pretty interesting. One of the ones that you should find interesting, it's I think about 17 minutes or something like that. It's Seth Godin, and it talks about the value of a tribe. So, you becoming a thought leader in actually helping people to develop a movement. And we've been seeing a lot of that, and using technology and marketing and campaigns have really helped people to really get some things going over the course of the past couple of years. Some would argue that President Obama, when he became president in 2008, and then to some extent also in 2012, it was because of his successful social media campaign. In this recent election, there were a lot of people talking about things about who they thought was going to win, but then there was a school of thought that had to do with only with social media followers and things like that. And there were some people saying there is no way you can't have this many more followers than someone and then still lose. So it's interesting in the very least. So take a look at those things and see how it kind of interacts with things as well. And the final piece is the last chapter, chapter 8, and it talks about the segmentation, the targeting, the differentiation, and the positioning process. What we're really after is, this is going to actually lead to the next part of your paper, which is identifying the different segments. When you're in marketing, whether it's e-marketing or not, one of the things that's going to be dramatically helpful to you as you craft your marketing message is understanding who specifically that message is for. Your marketing is way more effective when you understand who it's for. And then when you're saying those words to people who it's for, actually they like your words, and you usually have better success. And so you have to understand the different segments in the market. Those segments are different groups that use your product similarly. So I always talk about bicyclists. So you have some bicyclists that are recreational bicyclists. They use the product in a certain way, right? So they just want to get out and get some fresh air, and price is a different consideration than someone who's like an off-roader or someone who's really serious, a mountain biker or something like that. Then you have commuters. Their deal is they need their bike to be light, maybe even fold up and things like that so that they can get where they're going. The idea here is that there are different groups that use your product similarly, and as a result, similar characteristics need to comprise your marketing mix, which we'll talk about here in a second. Once you identify those segments, then the targeting process is saying, okay, we're going to pick one. Everything that we do is going to be zoned in to this particular marketing group now, or this particular target group. Is it possible to choose more than one target group? Yes, but your marketing message or your various messages that you have to differentiate between those groups. So when if you're choosing to have two different marketing target markets, you should have two different marketing campaigns that speak to them differently. And so, when you are looking at your paper, that's one of the things that you're going to have to do is figure out what target you're actually going to tune this innovation to. Then we get to differentiation, and this is where we begin to think about how you're going to set your product apart. What are those things that actually set your product apart? When we look at the marketing mix, that is the 4 Ps, and how is it that we actually craft these 4 things in a way that actually sets them apart and speaks to the target market that we're really after. We're concerned about that. And then finally, we're looking at the positioning. The key product that we're looking at from the positioning is your value proposition. That value proposition is a statement to your market that tells them who you are and how you are going to provide value to that specific market. And so it's kind of a linear process. Read over the chapters and see what's really going on with it. Look at the videos. They're pretty relevant as well. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get some exercise as you go through and actually do this in your papers. But good luck, everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.